Nick Kyrgios is a character, and that's how most of the people see him. But I think we can all agree that he's also a real shot maker, and his biggest weapons make him crazy dangerous on the court. One of his biggest weapons is his serve. If you take away the giants like Isner or Opelka, Nick Kyrgios has clearly the best serve on tour. Not only is his first serve a major weapon with countless aces and endless first serve winning points, but his second serve is also very reliable, and it's not rare to see the Australian go for an ace on his second serve. His confidence is so high that he's able to save the majority of breakpoints by hitting his best serves on those occasions. Just look at this amazing stat. In 2022, Kyrgios was the best player winning the most service games on tour with more than 92% of the games, and by far. These statistics not only consider the quality of the serve, but also the serve plus one shot, which means the ability to convert the point into a winning shot from the opportunity created by the serve. When you see Nick's serve, it looks compact with an impeccable timing, and his arm looks like a whip. Sometimes it looks like this man cannot miss a serve. It is both powerful and subtle when he chooses to slice it. And his accuracy is deadly. How does he manage to get so much consistency, accuracy, and pace out of his serve? Follow me and I will show you how. The starting position has a major impact on the quality of the serve because it influences your weight transfer. In tennis, body weight transfer is key in every shot. When you use your body weight and transfer it into the ball, it brings power and helps accuracy as it increases the contact time between the racket and the ball. When you start your serving motion, the first movement is transferring your weight backwards, which leads to the next weight transfer forward. What is very interesting in Kyrgios' serve is that he exaggerates it a lot to create the biggest possible weight transfer. Look at his starting position. Some elements are interesting to notice. First, the distance between his feet is extreme compared to many other players. You can almost put a racket between his feet. His arms are fully extended forward with the goal to create more energy in his movement. When you look at his front foot, it points at the net, where others point their foot sideways. Once again, his goal is to put himself in a situation where he is able to transfer the maximum power forward. Now, notice how coming from so far and going backwards, his arms create a pendulum effect, helping his body make a strong transfer of weight on his right leg. His toe on the left leg is going up and stops. Once he is on that position, with his left leg a bit bent and 100% of his body weight on it, he pushes slightly on it to shift his weight back to the front foot, creating the famous pendulum effect. When he is in that position, he starts his ball toss, but he doesn't throw the ball until he is back, moving his body weight forward to avoid his toss going backwards. This is also a good moment to look at his wrist and notice that it is fully bent. We will see later why he does that. Of course, it has a purpose too. But let's continue. Both of the arms go down together until they reach his left leg. Then they get separated from each other. The left arm will execute the toss and the right one will continue its course to get into the trophy position. One of the most important things to establish a consistent toss is to always keep the left arm extended. And as you can see, he's in an extended position and will keep it like this all the way until the ball leaves his hand. This helps avoid uncontrolled tosses. At that special moment, Nick still has the right wrist totally bent. More and more players proceed that way at the start of their motion, like Novak or Tiafoe. The goal is to generate the maximum whip effect. The ball just left his hand while his left arm reaches his head level. His arm is in front of him, shoulders 30 degrees, and exactly where he wants the ball to potentially drop off. When he hits the ball in front of him and on his right, his hand is positioned exactly under it. As you can see, his hand opened to set the ball free. He did not throw the ball, he just opened his hand to let it escape from it. The arm has given both the impulse and the direction. When the ball starts to lift up, Nick's arm is still pointing down and his wrist is still forming a 45-degree angle with it. This is one of the trademarks of his serve, the wrist and the delay. Nick's motion is fast. The ball toss has been achieved. Nick is loaded on his legs that have come together. His hips are forward and his torso backwards. And this will help him explode into the ball and throw all his body weight through the ball. His shoulders are perfectly aligned, and you can draw a line to verify. His right arm forms a 90-degree angle, and finally, as you can see, his wrist has come back to be aligned with his arm and is coming back with a major whip effect. This moment is key because it's when Nick is generating huge acceleration. All accelerations of shots in tennis are the result of what I call the whip effect. That is the result of a joint range of motion. As you can see in the picture, the range is huge. His elbow is pointing at the sky and accelerating forward while his racket is very low, pointing at the ground thanks to his loose wrist. The whip effect is created that way because the racket is naturally going backwards and the elbow is going forward. The racket finally follows the rest of the arm, coming back extremely fast. As you also see, his feet are not on the ground anymore. He has jumped forward and upwards. Upwards in order to contact the ball higher so it produces better net clearance, a higher bounce, and help find better angles. Forward in order to throw all the weight of his body through the ball, generating a much higher ball spin. The angle of Nick's body is great, approximately 30 degrees between the upper and the lower part of his body. This is optimum because it secures high contact with the ball. At the same time, he can hit the ball in front of his body and have the benefit of his body weight leaning on the ball. His left arm is bent at the level of his belly for better balance and to avoid staying in the way of his right arm. His head stays high to avoid dragging the ball down. During ball contact, Nick produces what we call pronation. He plays a flat serve to the tee. In order to achieve it, his wrist turns to the right, bringing the head of his racket to open to the right and point down. As you can also see, Kyrgios' head stays straight and follows the ball with his eyes. He maintains great balance and gets ready for the next shot. Notice how far inside the court Nick lands. It shows how much his body weight has been able to transfer through the ball. Look at his balance, it is perfect. His upper body stays high and he lands on his left leg, which bends to absorb the shock while the right leg is staying back to stay balanced. His right arm continues its course far, the left one pushes backwards behind his body, enabling a strong body rotation. Notice that his right shoulder ends almost under his chin. If you like this video and want to improve your tennis, subscribe to this channel.